All right guys, today we've got the new Apex irons from Callaway, the new 200 and 300 series. Let's check them out, hit them, see what the differences are, and let's talk about it. All right, we're gonna hit a few shots and get loose here. I'm starting with the AI200 iron here. I've got a dynamic gold mid 100 stiff shaft in here. This is kind of the stock shaft, so we're just gonna kind of see how this feels. I'm definitely not loose yet. I have not, that's literally my first swing of the day. So kind of get a few shots, get loose, and then once we get loose, we'll get into the actual testing. Callaway has clearly made this new club a little bit cleaner looking. When I look down at the top line, it's not nearly as thick as the old Apex in my opinion. The bottom's nice. It's even got a little camber in the front of the sole, so it looks like it would dig through the turf really well. So that looks like something nice. The biggest thing I'm going to be looking for when we do the test, of course, is just how different is the 2 to the 300? You know, is the 300 more forgiving? Is it a little bit longer? It's definitely a slightly larger head, and we've been told by Callaway that they expect to sell like 70% of the 300s versus the 200s. So, you know, whatever that means, I would always think that the smaller, better looking club in terms of the cleaner design would be a better seller, but I'm not in that game improvement category in terms of what I like to play. So, you know, if more golfers are looking for help, looking for a little bit of forgiveness, then obviously if the 300 is going to give you a little more, that makes sense that that might be more popular. So we'll see when we do the test. Let me get one more and then we'll get going with this test. So up first is the 200 series iron. I did go ahead and hit that one a few times to loosen up, and it did feel good. Now we're gonna hit it for real. We're gonna get into our testing phase. We're gonna hit 10 shots with each. We're gonna keep every single shot, good, bad, or otherwise, and we're gonna look at forgiveness, distance, etc. So far, just like I said, really good feel, clean looks. I mean, it's a little bit longer blade length than I like to look at normally, but for a game improvement club, it's about as clean as you're going to get. To draw. I didn't set up any lie angle adjustment or loft adjustment on the club. It's just dead neutral. So since my natural shot's a little bit of a draw, that's what you're going to see. I didn't try to counteract that by flattening the lie or anything. Still got some workability even though it's a game improvement club. So that's the 200. We'll check out the results and then we'll hit the 300 as well. Okay, so let's look at what happened there. And what we've got is the one that that one is just so low, I think we're gonna have to pull it out. I don't like to pull stuff out, but that one was just ridiculously off the rest of the swing. So we're gonna pull him out, and then we're gonna keep everything else. Go into our comparison screen. I'm gonna show you the warm-ups as well. Well, actually it's not gonna let me. So let's just look at the Apex 200. Okay, here we go. Nice straight ball over here on the right screen. I mean, even when I missed it, it still kind of came back. We got a little bit of a higher launch, 19.8. Even though it's a strong lofted golf club, we could get a little bit lower launch by changing the shaft. Obviously, spin a little bit low at 5,000, but for my club head speed, that's okay. If we jump back to the table real quick, we'll see that our descent angle is 46, so that's fine. It's going to hold a green normally. Side spins are pretty minimal. I think I had one with a little bit of spin on it, but the rest of them are pretty good. Yeah, overall high ball speed of around 115, averaging at 113. And then my average feet from the pin was 10 feet 5 inches. So, I mean, if I hit the ball to 10 feet all day, I'm going to be a pretty happy camper. So let's check out the 300 iron now. Here we go, Apex 300, first test. Let's see how it compares to the 200. Yeah, that almost went in the hole. So from a forgiveness standpoint there, you can see, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit thicker, definitely a little bit wider, same camber across the front of the sole. I mean, looks the same, feels the same, just slightly larger. We'll bring up the chart from Callaway's website, show you what the lofts are on these two and see, comparatively speaking, if there's a reason why the 3 should go further than the 2, if it's loft related or if it's something else. The clubs are so strong that, you actually have those longer clubs in your bag. They just have different numbers on them. So I always tell people, who cares what it says on the bottom of the club? It's the loft, the actual loft of the club that matters. Plus then you've got material differences in golf clubs, some that have more flexible faces. You've got where the weight is positioned. All that makes a difference in how the ball launches and flies and spins. So it's not all just about loft, but it is a big difference when you look at a game improvement golf club versus a player's club and see that maybe the clubs are 4 degrees stronger. That makes a huge difference in terms of how far it can go. The 300 seems like maybe it's launching a little higher and spinning a little more. I could be wrong. Like I said, we'll see in the numbers. All right, one more with that one and then we'll get to the numbers. So we're doing our comparison now that I've got the screen going and everything. We've got our Apex 200 and 300. You can see on the right side of the screen that the 300 had a slightly tighter dispersion, went just slightly left of the 200, but I like the tighter dispersion, and it definitely shows that you're going to have a touch more forgiveness. Now, what's really interesting is we look at the ball speed, it's essentially the same, 113.3, 113.1. The launch angle, a hair lower, almost a full degree lower on the 300, and the spin dropped by about 150 on the 300. So the distance ended up being exactly the same on carry, so no distance difference whatsoever. You know, that what's interesting about that is that when you have two different golf clubs that are supposed to be, you know, sort of twin brothers, if you will, and one's just a little different than the other, then that's kind of what you end up seeing. Now, if we go back to the table, one thing that we might see is if the descent angle differs. Now, it was 46.3 on the 200, 45.1 on the 300, slightly lower. Well, it was launching lower and it was spinning less, so of course it's going to descend just slightly less. When we get over to the chart where we can see the difference in loft and spec, if we look at the 200, the 7-iron, for instance, is 30 degrees. The pitching wedge is 43, so 30 and 43. If we go to the 300, then that 7-iron is 29 degrees, 1 degree stronger, and the pitching wedge is 42, also 1 degree stronger. So it makes sense that we were launching 1 degree lower because the loft is 1 degree stronger on these golf clubs. What's interesting is that even though it's 1 degree stronger, which normally would equate to about 3 to 5 yards of distance, we actually hit them, or I actually hit them the exact same distance on the carry. But I did see that the forgiveness is a little bit better, a little bit tighter on the 300. So I think with the right shaft, for me, this could be a really cool test for sure. You know, and we see the numbers that we want to see. All right, guys, so we hit the 200, we hit the 300. They went the same distance. The forgiveness was a little better on the 300. The launch was a hair lower because of the loft being a little bit stronger. And so that's our basic review of the new Apex irons from Callaway. I got to tell you, if you're looking for forgiveness, look no further, because this one's going to be amazing. We do have the demos in at both of our stores. We have all the new shafts for you to hit. And I definitely think this is one to look for if you are looking for a game improvement club. So check it out. Apex, Callaway, 200 and 300, the new AI Apexes. They got so many words on them, I don't even know what to call them. AI Forged, 200, 300, something like that. Anyway, enjoy it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like the content that we're putting out. Check out all of our other content as well on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff. And if you're in the Dothan, Alabama or Panama City Beach area, come see us right here at Golf Plus. Talk to you soon.